The COVID pandemic, and we are hugely cognizant of it. Right now we want to stick to Kerala because this is the evening of the exit poll. It doesn't for a second mean that we are taking our eyes off the COVID coverage. We have more reporters on the ground tracking every dimension of this story. I want to go across to Veera Raghav. 37% of the voters said they voted for development. Our poll suggests not just is the left coming back to power, it is coming back to power in style. And the Congress in that one state where they thought despite everything they will be able to win in Kerala, that hope seems to just be in the Arabian Sea, sinking and drowning at the moment.
It's a shocker. It's a big time shocker for the Congress, and I think Kerala will raise, if this exit poll results hold good, then the foothold for the Congress as the glue for a national opposition, or the larger argument of a pan-India a political force that still exists as an opposition, may come into question. It's a huge shocker, Rahul. I mean, through the narrative was it's going to be a close election, possibly edge to the left. One was looking at whether the Nair votes were going to shift to the Congress, but your exit poll seems to be suggesting something entirely different. And it's not just bad news for the Congress, but it's also bad news for the BJP, because they're not growing in Kerala as far as your exit poll is concerned. Perhaps it's a decisive declaration, A, in favour, as Rajdeep was pointing out, to Pinarayi Vijayan and his governance. B, you need a strong leader. Even those opposed to the BJP at an ideological level would like to consolidate behind a strong leader and don't see a future within the Congress. It's a huge setback for the Congress if this is the result and if it holds.
Sachidanand Murthy, traditionally also Hindus in Kerala have voted for the LDF. This poll suggests that the lion's share of the Hindu vote has gone to the LDF, and they've also been able to make a dent amongst the Muslims who typically have traditionally gone in larger numbers for the UDF. This time, part of the reason is that the Muslim vote has gravitated towards the LDF.
Yes, if the numbers are correct, then there is a strong shift among the Muslim voters. And also, what is the extent of shifting of the Christian voters? Because one of the new joinees of the Left Democratic Front was the Kerala Congress Mani, the dominant of the two groups in the Kerala Congress. They just joined the LDF ahead of the elections, and they were expected to do some damage in 2-3 constituencies, but how much of damage they have done across?
No, I can tell you the numbers. Amongst the Christian voters of Kerala, 44% have voted for the LDF, 43% have voted for the UDF, which may seem like it's tight, but if you go back in past elections, Christians voted for the UDF in disproportionate numbers in comparison to the LDF. So looked at from that perspective, it begins to make a difference. According to the India Today Access My India exit poll, more Muslims this time have voted for the UDF than they have voted for the LDF than they have for the UDF. There's a 5% gap amongst the Muslims in favour of the LDF, which again is quite unprecedented, which is why they're winning as big as they are, according to this exit poll, because 50% of the Muslim voters indicated that they voted for the LDF in comparison with 45% suggesting, Sachidanand, that they voted for the UDF.
Yeah, because what earlier the UDF was always known as the first MNC of India, that it was a coalition of Muslims, Nayars and Christians. And the LDF normally depended upon mainly the Hindu, especially the Ilava voters. So that was a kind of caste and religion divide which used to happen in several elections. But now that means if these big numbers of Muslims and Christians have voted for the LDF, then the Pinarayi Vijayan, by his personal charisma and also by his own kind of political engineering he would have done, especially after losing the Lok Sabha election so badly to the UDF,